All right, in zone 5, we are also making this big 4 petal. Okay, so here it is here. Okay, we're making the 4 petals block. I'm going to walk you through it step by step. And even though there's several pieces, they're all really basic shapes. It's just that AB shimmer and then the twist block. So there's no extra little piecing in there. We have a little 4 patch, everything you're going to be able to do. So let's go ahead and start working on the 4 patch block. For this one, you're not going to sew it together right now. You'll sew it together when we assemble the zone. So you will also have a leaf section, and then you also have this part, the stem, where it goes up and attaches to the flower. Okay, let's go ahead and make our 4 petals block. Let's get started making the 4 petals block. Now, these will be the same instructions for zone 5 and zone 8. So obviously in zone 8, you're going to use colors on the right here. For zone 5, we're using these colors. So first thing I have done is sorted my fabric, and I am just going to work with one curve, one set of curves I'm cutting at a time. So one thing that's nice about this one is, do you see all of these curves we're cutting? They're all using the orange lines. So you see orange text everywhere. So that should simplify it a little bit for you. All right, let's look at our first set. Okay, and again, you're going to think about right side up and right side down if it reminds you to. If the pattern says, oh, don't forget. Okay, this first one, we are making just the regular shimmer AB cut. It's very straightforward. It does not matter if they're right side up or right side down. We're using the orange lines. So I'm lining up the orange V right on top of that edge of my fabric. And I'm cutting in the curve slot. These are all 4x4s, and I'm going to keep all of these. So I'm going to go ahead and just work you through this. And sometimes if you just have out what you're working with, it's a lot easier because this block has a lot of pieces to it. So same thing again. Okay, so now we have 8A and we have 8B. Now the next thing we have we are making twist D. Twist D uses a 2 3/4 by 4. And I'm breaking these up into 2 piles so that I don't cut through 8 layers. And we need 4 up and 4 down. Now this is how they came off the bolt. And I have them, right as they come off, you keep it folded so they're every other one. I'm just going to leave them how they are because I know that's 4 up and 4 down. Yep. Okay, here for twist D, we're using the orange dashed mark. Go ahead and put that on the corner. And I just set it right on top of the fabric. Remember, after we sew, we're going to square up. Now here, we are not using C, we are only using D. So again, dashed orange. And then at this stage, it would be easiest if you separate. Because when we get to sewing, we're going to want to have these are 2 mirrored images here. So I am separating, and now you can see I have 4 up and 4 down. Okay, next is our really pretty, this plummy color. And we have 4 of these that are 4x4. Doesn't matter if it's right side up or down. So I'm just doing the basic AB cut using the solid orange line. And those are done. And then we have 8 more. And for these, we're going to make shimmer A. So it doesn't matter if they're up or down. I'm just going to leave them how they are. I'm just putting the orange, solid orange V right here on the edge of the fabric. Sits right on top of that edge. This is my discard. And then we do it one more time. So I'm cutting through 4 layers here. Again, if you're having a hard time with your blade not cutting clear through, check to make sure that your blade is sitting tall enough like this. If it's down here when you're using it, sometimes the plastic gets in the way of and it runs on the ruler. So go ahead and angle your blade up. Okay, next we are looking at the accent color. That's this really pretty green plaid. If you're using the cottage cloth kit, we are cutting 4A. So that is the solid orange line. These are the 3.5 by 3.5. So we have a lot of A. I'm keeping them in stacks over here. A's, B's, D's. And next I have these 2 yellows. Looking at my yellows. I'm just going to keep them how they come off the bolt, just like that. And then I am going to, I'm making B. So when I make B, I know this is 4 3/4 square. My first step is to cut it in half diagonally. And then I'm stacking those on top of each other. And I'm lining up the 4s on the edges. And then trimming off whatever fabric is extending beyond the ruler. Rotate those around. This is all on pages 6 and 7. If you need a reference chart, put your fabric in the orange box corners. Cut in your curve cutout. Okay, these are B. I'm going to put it in my B pile. All right, next is the stem. So stem, I have, let's see, 2 4x4s. And let's see, stem. No, I have 4. Oh, sorry, I looked at the wrong one. So this is stem, and I have 4 4x4s. Yes. Okay, and we're making the AB cut. So we're using the solid orange line. We are making both A's and B's. It does not matter if it's up or down. Now I'm keeping 3 of these and 4 of these. So I'm getting rid of one of those and I'm setting them up here. All right, on leaves. For leaves here, I am cutting, I have 2, and we're just making the AB cut. So we just line up the 4-inch right here in your orange, solid orange V. Go ahead and cut in your slot, and you're keeping both of those. So A pile, B pile. Okay, for backgrounds, for this block, we actually have 2 different backgrounds. We have countryside for the cottage cloth kits. That is the green with the green flower. That's the part around the petal, and then we have a different one for the stem. So for this, I have 1 4x4. I am cutting 1 4x4, making A and B. All right, now for the, still working with background 1, I did that. Now I have 3 4 3/4, and I am making 6B out of 3 squares. So again, cut in half diagonally. I'll do this in 2 sets. Set it up with the 4s on the right angle here, and then trim off the points. We're making B shape, just B. So we rotate that, put your orange box corners on those corners, cut in the curve slot. Hopefully you're saying these things with me, and it's really getting cemented in your head. And that when you're looking at the pattern now, you're like, yep, I know what I'm doing. Okay, still working on 6 more of these B shapes. All right, now we are to twist C. Remember we cut all those twist D's out of the pink? Well, we need a twist C to go with it. And we need these to be 4 of them right side up and 4 of them right side down. So I'm just looking how they came off the bolt, making sure that my layers have the right, yes, they're all correct. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut these in 2 stacks. And this is where I'm using the dashed orange. This is twist C. This is my discard. Do it one more time. Using the orange dashed line. And again, I know we'll have to separate these, so let's just do it now. It'll just make it so much easier. And there we have it. So I'm going to put those C's over here by the D. And then I only have one thing left. This is background 2. And this is the lower one around the stem and the leaves. I have 2 4x4s. And I am cutting shimmer A and B. So solid orange. Cut in your curved slot. Ooh, that sounds good. And then keep 1 of the A and 2 of the B's. All right, over here, I am going to keep these shapes that maybe I could use if I need to in the future, or if I make a mistake somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to save those, put those in my save pile. We have now cut all of those, and next steps is to set up for sewing. So go ahead and cut all your curves. All right, I'm going to show you, we're going to go ahead and set it up for all of our curves. We're just going to make it look exactly like the pattern. So the first thing is we have 6 A petals. I know I have 8 here. So we have 6 A, and they go with 6 B background 1s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just put those right by each other. Those sew together. And then we have our other 2 A's, pink, and then petal 1, and then they go with our stem. And our stem is this dark green. So I have 2 stem. And then I'm just going to go ahead and set this up now. And then we have our 8. We have our 8 B's that are petal 1. With 8A. That is petal 2. And then we have petal 2. We have 4 of these with our accent. And our accent is this color. Accent. And then we have our center, which is the yellow, with our petal 2. We never have enough space. You know how that is. Shift everything, and this goes here. Okay, next row is, we have background 2 with our stem. So background 2 with our stem, with 2 stem, A and B. And then we have one stem with 1 leaf. And then we have the leaves with the stem. And then we have background 2. And where do I have my other background 2? Oh, we only have 1 here. Okay, one of these lives over here with this. And then we have our leaves with our background 2. And then we have background 1, which is the green countryside, with our stem 1 and our stem with our background 1. And then we have our petal 1 and our background 1, and we have both orientations. And we should have 4 in each. Okay, so all of that worked. We have the right numbers. We're going to go do some curved sewing. We're going to work with 1 set at a time. I am just going to show you 1 AB. These are all AB here. AB, AB, all the way to here. They all sew exactly the same, all of that. These are CD. So I'm going to show you this orientation, and I'll show you this orientation. Remember, the curve is the same, even though the shape of the block might be a little bit different. Okay, I know Four Petals has a lot of pieces, but hopefully it feels much more doable now that you see that, oh, it's just AB with those 8 CDs. So first step, concave stays on the bottom, it's on the left. You flip your convex over on top, have a 1/4 inch seam. Sew a few stitches and then hold 1 piece in each hand. Sew that curved seam. And you get a nice gentle curve, sews together nicely. All right, for CD, our first one is to sew C onto D. And here we keep D on the bottom, that's our concave. C flips over, we have a 1/4 inch tail. Same steps. And then for this one, concave is still the same piece, we just have the other end at the top. We flip over the convex, leave a 1/4 inch tail. And feed the edges, curved edges together as they go under the presser foot. Okay. So you've just got a little curve sewing to do. I recommend chain piecing and just go 1 set at a time. All right, all my curves are sewn. I have squared up most of them. I wanted to talk about pressing for just a second before I show you some square up examples. So here's that AB block. And normally we just press to the A, this direction, and it pulls your focus fabric in front. But if you ever have the B is the focus fabric, then we always suggest you press to the focus. Press this direction and it will pull that focus piece in front of the background. And that's also what's happening on the CD blocks. Usually, well, it seems like 90% of the time, this is the focus and this is background. So you would press to C. But in this case, again, press to the focus. All right, let's go ahead and square up. So this is your classic AB shape here. We cut with orange lines. We're going to use the orange dots. So all we're doing is positioning the orange dots on the curve. I'll get nice and close so you can see that. So here, I'm just looking at orange dots here and here. Just put it right on the curve. Oh, that's just a teeny bit too close. Let's go there. And then just make sure you can get 3 inches all the way around. Trim 2 sides and then rotate your block. Now put trimmed edges on the 3s. And then trim whatever is left. You're going to do that for all of the AB blocks. Okay. All right, now on the twist blocks, you have 2 orientations. So go ahead and make 2 separate piles. Work with them one at a time. We're going to make a 1 3/4 by 3. So first steps, we are putting the orange dot on the curve. And then we're putting the 1.5 inch mark on the curve. That will tell the curve where it should live when we sew the blocks together. Do I have enough fabric to get my final size? Yes. So I trim 2 sides, then rotate and look at trimmed edges. Put trimmed edges on 1 3/4 and 3. Here. And then go ahead and trim off whatever is left. And then for your other direction, because it's a mirrored image, set it up this way, how the pattern shows. And you're putting the orange dot here on the curved seam and the 1.5 inch mark on the curved seam. Go ahead and trim 2 sides. Rotate. Put trimmed edges on 1 3/4 and 3. And then you're trimming whatever is left. Okay, go ahead and square up all of your blocks. Press and square up your blocks. All right, blocks are sewn together. Curves are sewn, curves are squared up. Our next step is to make the 4-patch block out of your petal 1 and accent fabrics. So go ahead and do that. I made all 4 of mine. I like to press the first 2 seams to the side and then the second seam is pressed open. You can press them both open, you can press them both to the side, whatever works for you. And now we're actually going to lay out our big petal flower. So we'll lay this out and then we will sew rows together. And so I'm not going to talk so I can speed this up, but we'll just lay it out using our curves that we've sewn and our 4 patches. Okay, there we have it laid out. So I have my stem here coming off. Now go back through and look, you know, you're never going to get all the orientation exactly the same on the fabrics. So I just kind of let it lay where it is, and that's what we're going with. All right, now we're going to sew into rows, press seams open, sew rows together. All right, here is our Four Petals flower. Center is sewn together. Go ahead and do a little quick check. Did all the blocks get sewn the right direction? I have my seams pressed open. All right, now our next step is we need to make this little piece right here that attaches to the stem area. And we do that with, we're going to use a couple of, we're going to use a piece of the stem fabric. And 2 1 3/4 background 1. So I find it's easier just to lay it out first and make it look like the picture. So you're drawing your lines. You're going to sew from corner to corner. So give yourself some sew lines. And go ahead and stitch right on those, and then we'll trim 1/4 inch and press it out. Here I have the next layer laid out. So we made this little piece here. Make sure you sew it on with the skinnier green part here. That will connect to our stem. So now we're going to sew, I have CD block, 3-inch piece, unit, 3-inch piece, CD block. So we're going to sew these together, sew it to the center. The same on this side. Here we have some background. This is our 10 this is that 10.5-inch piece. So we'll sew those to the center, press seams open. Then we'll sew this together, press seams open, sew it to the center, do that with the top and the bottom. And then our petal section is done. So let's go ahead and do that. Here is the leaf section sewn together. Seams are pressed to open. All right, let's lay out our next section. We're going to do the stem part on top. And so the stem part is where we're going to use the rest of our curved shapes. And we are doing this right here. And then this is our long stem piece. So those stay separate for now. So now you're just sewing 1, 2, 3, make a column. These two make a column, sew the columns together, press all the seams open. All right, this is the upper part of the stem sewn together, seams pressed to open. So at this stage, you have your flower part, and then this will go here. Our flying geese live above it. And then you have a stem with your leaf down below. And then we have all those other things that go on. We have some setting pieces. We have a butterfly, not a butterfly. We have hummingbird, a bee, a sprout, and a ladybug. So, good job getting your 4 petals block done.